Okay, hope my screen is properly visible. This topic is concurrency, that is from Unit 2. And in this topic, we will going to learn principles of concurrency, critical section problem, mutual exclusion, semaphore, mutex, message passing, monitors, then some of the IPC problem and deadlock. Okay, so the first thing is IPC problem means interprocess communication problems, system problems. So what is interprocess? Interprocess means two process want to communicate with each other. This is called interprocess. Processes can be independent or processes can be cooperating with each other. Now, why processes are cooperating? Because they want to share some information, they want to pass some data. So, cooperating processes can affect by the other processes or it cannot affect. The reason for the cooperating processes are information sharing, computational speed up, modularity, and convenience. Cooperating processes need inter-process communication. There are two models for the inter-process communication. The first one is shared memory and the second one is message passing. Okay. For example, I have to cook for only one person or two person. So in that case, I can independently make a meal for somebody. I don't need any helping hands. But if somebody told me that now you have to prepare a meal for the 50%. So in that case,
The screen has been freezed.
I'm on the PPT inter-process communication.
No, ma'am.
ફર્સ્ટ પે કઈ ડિસ્પ્લે થાય છે કોન્કરન્સી વાળું બસ.
એવું છે દેખાય છે હવે? Since morning I'm getting this problem. Now are you able to see this second PPT inter-process communication?
યસ મેમ.
Okay, I'll not going to execute. I'll keep it as it is. Okay. So if I inform that you have to prepare a meal of 50 people, so in that case I need lots of helping hands and I need to communicate with that particular people. These are called interprocessing. I'll ask somebody that please give me salt. I'll ask next person please provide me oil. Then third person please provide me cutted vegetables. Means I'm dependent on the other people also for completing my work. So this is called interprocess communication. You are communicating with the other person for completing the task. So processes are also sharing data, sharing memory, sharing variable, and they need to interprocess with each other for completing the task. Here you can see process A and B both are independent and they are communicating directly with the kernel. But here there is some shared data between process A and process B and they are communicating with that particular shared data. Okay, now the PPT is producer consumer problem. Hope it is visible.
યસ મેમ.
Okay, fine. I have run it. Is it still visible? I'm moving my PPT. Is it visible?
નો મેમ પેલું જ પેજ છે.
No, ma'am.
પ્રોબ્લેમ.
Okay, producer consumer, are you able to see?
યસ મેમ.
Okay, so for cooperating processes, there is one producer consumer problem is there. Here we need two kind of buffers, bounded buffer and the unbounded buffer. Bounded buffer, it is in fixed in size, and the unbounded buffer which doesn't have size limit practically. Okay, let me explain you the bounded and unbounded buffer. Okay. And message passing can be a blocking or message passing cannot be a blocking. For example, if I'm receiving messages through my mobile, so I can say that there is some limitation of the memory of my mobile, and it might be possible that my memory will going to become filled completely and I'm not able to receive the more messages. So this is called a blocking. Now it is going to block my fixed size buffer, bounded buffer. And if I'm talking about the inbox of Google, Gmail, and I'm getting the mail frequently, so I cannot say that it is going to become full or complete. I'm getting the mail and it is not having some fixed size. It is unlimited size. Wait, I'm again sharing. Now, is it visible? Moving PPT?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So this is called non-blocking. Whatever messages you are sending, or somebody send me mail that is going to receive into my Gmail inbox. So this is called non-blocking. Now we will learn what is race condition. You can see here there is one computer. The PPT is of race condition. There is one computer and there is the database, right? So in John is having his account balance rupees 5,000 into the bank. Now, what John can do? John can read the balance and it will check that the balance is enough. Then I can withdraw some money and then he can update the balance. Now, in next PPT, what I have given here, there is one friend of John named Mac. Mac is also, Mac want to do some money transfer into John's account, right? So Mac and John both are reading his account at same time parallelly. For example, you two are checking that which seat of the movie ticket is available, and both the person or more than one person can see, yes, this is the A1 number seat in last row, which is empty, which is available for the booking. So more than one person can see that particular seat. Same way here they are doing, more than one person is checking that the account balance is rupees 5,000 rupees, and they both are even able to update the values. For example, John is able to withdraw the 2,000 rupees from the 5,000 rupees. So from the 5,000 rupees, John has withdrawn 2,000 rupees, right? So the current amount in John's account is 3,000 rupees. But they both have started reading parallelly and they both have read the initial value, that is 5,000. Mac is reading that the value is 5,000, but now actual value in his account is 3,000 because John has withdrawn rupees 2,000. Now, what Mac wants to do? Mac wants to transfer rupees 5,000 into the John's account. So actually, John is having 3,000 rupees. John is having 3,000 rupees after withdrawing the 2,000 rupees from the 5,000 rupees, and Mac is transferring 4,000 rupees. Right? So actual money in John's account will be of 7,000 rupees, but this is not going to happen because they both have started reading at the same time, and the final money in his account is 9,000 rupees, which is actually incorrect value, and this has happened because of this particular race condition. In that PPT somewhere. Okay, but this is the problem. I can say one PPT. I'm not. Yes, this is the PPT. Okay. So you can see here, whatever final balance Mac can see is 5,000 rupees and he will transfer 4,000. So final balance in the account is 9,000 rupees. But this has happened because both the parties have started reading together, updated reading together. So final changes will not going to affect, and this is going to become problem. I can see the movie ticket that this is the seat, A1 number seat of last row is available. But we can see it, we can read it. No 2 or 3 person are allowed to proceed on it parallelly. On one seat, एक seat पे एक से ज़्यादा person booking नहीं कर सकता है. Right? And this kind of situation is known as a race condition. Means more than one process wants to manipulate the data concurrently. So it is associated mostly with the computer science, memory and computer storage. A race condition may occur if the command to read and write the large amount of data they received at most the same instance, and the machine attempts to overwrite some of all of the old data while the old data is still being read. The result may be one or more following: computer crash, an illegal operation notification, shutdown of the program, error reading the old data, and errors writing the new data. The race condition is also occur if the instructions are processed into the incorrect order. So if the instructions are incorrect in order, if they are allowing more than one process to update the same data. For example, if there is allowed of A1 ticket booking of that particular movie, more than one person can book the same ticket and get the ticket. So what happened when they will go physically? Everyone will file with the other one. Somebody tell, yes, I have booked it. Other person tell that, no, I have already booked this. So this kind of problem will going to occur. So illegal operation will going to happen. Now the next problem is critical section problem. Now what is critical section problem? So processes may be sharing some variables, updating some table, writing some files. There are processes from P1 to Pn n minus 1. And each process have critical segment or section of the code. So here P1, P2 and P3, these three processes are sharing the memory and sharing the data. Okay. Now you need to do the process synchronization in critical region. For example, one process entered into the critical region. You can see here one process is doing some changes in variable because they have shared some global variable. They are updating some value. So at that time, no other processes are allowed to enter into the critical section when one process is going to complete its execution. Because why process is entering into the critical section? Because they are changing the common variable, updating the table, writing the file. So when one process is in critical section, no other may be in the critical section. Critical section problem is to design protocol to solve this. Each process must ask the permission to enter into the critical section into the entry section. It may follow the critical section with the exit section and then the reminder section. So every processes are having entry section, exit section, and the reminder section. So for any of the process to enter into the critical section, they have to take the permission. Then they can change the variable, then they can exit, and the reminder section that next process can enter. In simple language, I can say that I want to do some work, I want to read something because of my exam. And for example, there is some wedding or party at your home, and in the room where you are reading, people are coming and going and disturbing you. So in that case, what you can do, you are doing locking from inside. You are locking your room from the inside. So until you will unlock, nobody else can enter, and you can read peacefully for your exam. So here in critical section, every process has to enter and the exit. One at a time, no other processes can enter when one process is updating the value. If it allowed to enter because I'm writing on a board and there is other faculty is also allowed to write on the board same time, more than 5 faculties are writing on same board, so it will going to create a problem. Whatever I have written, somebody else will come and remove it. Somebody overwrite it. So this is not going to happen. So in critical section, one process at a time is entering into the critical section, and when it will going to complete the process, then and then other processes are going to allow to walk into the critical section, and for that you have to do the blocking and unblocking of processes, and you are using the mutex. Mutex is nothing but one kind of lock. So one process is in critical section is locked until it will complete its execution. Once it complete, it can come out from the critical section and unlock the critical section, so the next process can enter. Mutual exclusion: if process P1 is executing into the critical section, then no other processes can be executing into that critical section. Progress: if no process is in executing its critical section and there exists some processes that wish to enter into the critical section, then the section of the process that will enter into the critical section next cannot be postponed indefinitely. So the progress should be there. For example, if one process is into the critical section and other process is waiting, but the waiting cannot be, I can say, infinite time. There should be some finite time for the waiting. The process, other process also should get the chance of executing or changing the values whatever they want. Bounding waiting also, the bound must be exist on number of time the other process are allowed to enter into the critical section after a process has made a request to enter into the critical section and before that request is granted. So there is some bounding that one process is going to enter into the critical section for some particular time period, because one process is continuously asking for the critical section and other process is not going to get the we can say reply. So there should be some bounding is there. This process will get turn this much time. ऐसा कुछ bounding होता है. Now Peterson's solution, it is having, we can see two process solution. It is having load and store instruction, that is atomic, and you can say that there is two shared variable. Two processes are sharing two variable, integer turn and boolean flag. The variable turn indicates whose turn is to enter into the critical section, and flag array is used to indicate if the process is ready to enter into the critical section. Flag is equal to true implies that process P1 is ready. Okay, so turn will show whose turn will come, and the flag will show that now process is ready to enter into the critical section, and flag value is true. So you can see here flag is equal to true means I'll enter into the critical section. Turn is equal to J. Now J's turn is means J can go into the critical section and execute the process. While flag and turn both is equal to J means J is already there, busy waiting in critical section, and flag is equal to false. Nobody else is allowed because J is in process and remainder is section will come. This is the software based solution. It is not going to work for the modern computer system or the hardware based solution. But Peterson's solution has proven that here they can, we can say, preserve the mutual exclusion, progress requirement is also satisfied, bounded requirement is also met. So for a software kind of solution, it is allowed. It means why we are doing all these things, because we need to check it out that whenever we are having multi-process environment, more than one processes want to share the same data, then how we can give turn to one by one, right? Because reading can be simultaneously possible. Whatever I'm writing on board, everybody can read, but nobody can overwrite on the board. More than one person is not allowed to write or update. Otherwise, that problem will happen. Whatever problem was with the Mac and John, right? They both have read the same value. Whatever the John has withdrawn, that is not shown to the Mac. Mac has entered some data, and the output was completely wrong. तो ऐसा ना हो उसके लिए हमारे पास ये सारे solutions हैं. Synchronization of hardware. Many systems provide hardware support for the critical section code. Uniprocessor could disable the interrupt. Currently running code will execute without preemption. And modern machine provides special atomic hardware instruction. Atomic is equal to non-interruptible. I'll give you some question. What kind of question the exam you have to prepare from this, so you will get some more idea. Now there are some solution of the critical section, and that is the lock. I told you, suppose I want to read peacefully, then I'll lock my room inside so nobody can enter. Once I'll unlock that room, the other person can enter into the room. So in critical section, process must has to acquire the lock before entering into the critical section, and it has to release the lock once its process will be done and exiting. It's going to exit the critical section. Lock 0 means what? There is no process, nothing is in critical section. Lock is equal to 1 means the process is, some process is there into the critical section. So until it will become 0, no other process will go into the critical section, because one process is there. Now taste and set. We can say that there are two threads, they are executing. A is equal to A plus 1. And they have started with the value is equal to 100. If both the threads are running in at the same time, both would load as our initial value is equal to 100 and increment to 101 and store back the value, which is wrong, right? Because both the processes cannot proceed together, they cannot even change the value. So with taste and set, you are saying that set to a 101, but only if the currently has the value is equal to 100. In this case, one thread will pass that taste, but the other will going to fail. So in the failure case, the thread can retry the entire statement, this time loading as a 101, and it is success. So taste and set is checking that what is the exact value read by the one process and what is the exact value one read by the other process. So first process will increment the value by 1 from the 100 and tell that 101. So that is succeed. But the other process will also tell that yes, I have also read the value 100, and after incrementing 1, it will become 101. So that is, I can say, that is fail case. So I can say that it can allow only one process at a time to enter, taste and check whatever the value that one process has given, and then it will allow second process. So second process has to add the value into 101, a new value, and then it will tell that now new value is 102. So it is faster than the mutex, because of the time there isn't a race condition. So the update has been without having to acquire some of the sort of mutex. Even during collision, one thread isn't blocked at all, and it's faster for the other thread to just pin and retry then it would be the suspended itself in line of some mutex. So there is no locking kind of mechanism. You just have to taste and set whatever the processes are there, the value it is going to taste and set. Now this is very interesting problem, producer consumer problem. This is also a IPC problem. It is known as a bounded buffer also. Just listen the story behind this, what is going to happen. I'll tell you story. For example, okay, keep it. Let me take two names from your class. Aditya. Okay, what Aditya has done, after completion of B, Aditya has opened his factory of Parle-G biscuit, right? And what Nikunj is doing, Nikunj has opened his shop and he is asking Aditya that I need some of the Parle-G biscuit, some amount of, I can say 10 lakhs packets of Parle-G biscuit. Aditya is telling, okay, I'll provide you. So in that case, Aditya is a producer and the Nikunj is a consumer. And how they can communicate with each other to provide 10 lakhs Parle-G biscuit packets, Aditya will tell that we need a one trolley, right? And then in that trolley, I'll upload the biscuits. So you will get that biscuit. Once Nikunj will receive that biscuit at his place, Nikunj has to see that all the biscuits cartoon received, and वो क्या करेगा, पूरा जो ट्रॉली भरा हुआ है बिस्किट का वो empty कर देगा. Right? Now empty trolley will again go to the factory of Aditya, and Aditya will again fill the next slot of biscuits. And again Nikunj will get that biscuit on his shop, and he will again empty that particular trolley. So every time empty trolley will go, Aditya will fill that biscuits from his factory and Nikunj will receive that particular thing. So this is just a producer and consumer problem. Now how this trolley will go into, what is the exactly role of this truck? This truck space is known as a buffer. See how it is going to happen. See here. This is, I can say that now Aditya is thinking that there is lots of biscuit cartoons that I need to deliver, and he found that there is a lorry is available and it is empty too. Let's send the items through that lorry, and items are packed and loaded into the truck. Now after loading full a truck, now this truck starts going, and you can see that there are so many items, but there is no space into this particular lorry to put. Now truck starts and reached into the destination place, but we are having lots of other things to deliver. So until the truck will come back with the empty space, that particular Aditya has to sleep, right? Or wait for the next trip. Now after traveling, it reached to the shop of, who was that person? I forgot his name. Nikunj, okay. So after reaching the shop of Nikunj, he has to unload all the packets of that particular biscuit, right? Now the truck is empty and there is no more item to unload. Now this trolley will go back to the factory for the next trip. So now this, I can say the next person who is having his shop, Nikunj, he has to go into the sleep mode and he has to wait until the next turn will come with the fully loaded lorry of the biscuit. So he will wait and sleep for the next trip. Now truck returned to the factory to load more items. Now producer needs to wait when buffer is full and consumer needs to wait when buffer is empty. Now producer will get the wake-up call. Yes, the lorry came with the empty space. You can fill the other packets of biscuits, and then it will go into the sleep mode once the biscuits got full. Then consumer will got the wake-up call. Yes, the biscuit received here. Now you can consume it. So when the buffer is full, producer has to wait, and when the buffer is empty, consumer has to wait. So this is the producer consumer problem or bounded buffer problem. So this is the problem of process synchronization. And there is a fixed size buffer known as a queue. The job of producer is to generate the data and put it into the buffer and start again. Consumer is going to consume the data. The problem is to make sure that producer won't try to add the data into the buffer when it is full, and consumer won't try to remove the data when it is empty. The solution of this problem is producer has to either go to sleep or discard the data if the buffer is full, and the next time consumer removes an item from the buffer, it notifies the producer who start to fill the buffer again. In the same way, the consumer can go to sleep if it finds the buffer to be empty. The next time producer puts data into its buffer, it will wake up the sleeping consumer, and the solution can be reached by means of inter-process communication, typically called semaphore. Now, everybody has to send wake-up call to other. Once the buffer is empty, then consumer has to send the wake-up call to producer. Yes, you wake up and fill the more biscuits. When trolley is full, then producer has to send the sleeping consumer a wake-up call. Now the buffer is full. You just remove, unload the biscuit packets. So this can be done by the inter-process communication or using semaphore. And the second thing is there is possibility of having deadlock. For example, there are some problem occurs with the lorry in between on the way. Then everybody is waiting for other to send a wake-up call. Both are in sleeping mode. Nobody will send wake-up call to anybody. So this kind of situation will known as a deadlock. So to solve this problem, a lesser experienced programmer might come up with a solution. In the solution, two library routines are used, sleep and wake up. When sleep is called, the caller is blocked until the another process wake up. It's up using the wake up routine. The global variable item count holds the number of item into the buffer. So initially count is equal to 0 and the producer will have I can say items, and it will going to full into the buffer. Once buffer is equal to full, item count is equal to buffer size, it will go into the sleep mode and its counter becomes plus plus. And when the buffer is empty, then I can say counter is 0. The consumer will get the backup call from the sleep call, and the buffer size is become 0 minus minus because we are removing the packets. So both the process will sleep forever if we run into a deadlock. The solution is, we can say, unsatisfactory. An alternative analysis is that if the programming language does not define the semantics of concurrent access to the shared variables, without use of synchronization, the solution is unsatisfactory for the reason without need to explicitly demonstrate the race condition. Semaphore solve the problem of lost wake-up calls. Now, what is semaphore? Semaphore is the object with one integer value which can be manipulated by two routines. Historically, these routines can be P and V. P means sem underscore post and V means sem underscore wait. So wait and post, these two are the routines we are using with the semaphore. Semaphore S is equal to S minus 1. If S less than 0 means you have to wait on S. S is equal to S plus 1. And if thread waiting on S, back up 1. You see here, post and wait. I'll explain you it in simple language. This is nothing but one kind of generalized log, right? It will consist of some integer value, wait or P, signal or V. Wait means an atomic operation, that is wait for the semaphore to become the positive, then decrement it by the 1. Signal or V, an atomic operation that increments semaphore by 1 and wake up a waiting thread at P. No negative values. P waits until the value is 1, then it's set to 0. Binary semaphore is having two values, 0 and 1. P waits until the value is 1, then set to 0. V sets the value 1 and wake up the thread waiting at P. Mutual exclusion, the semaphore has initial value 1. P is called before the critical section and V is called after the critical section. I'm giving you an example. I'm having one cat and one litter box. So semaphore litter box is equal to 1, P is equal to litter box, critical section, and V is equal to litter box. So you can see here in mutual exclusion, semaphore has initial value is equal to 1. P is called before the critical section and V is called after the critical section, means wait and post, wait and signal, right? So you can see here, litter box is equal to 1, right? P is equal to litter box. Whenever that cat wants to enter into the litter box, the cat has to put the value means 1 to 0. So you can see here, now your cat is into the litter box. In this image you can see, it means the value is equal to 0. Your critical section doesn't have any space for the new process to enter, right? Once the cat come out from the litter box, the value again will become set to 1, right? So initially your litter box is having value 1. So somebody can enter into the litter box, and whenever somebody enter into the litter box, the value of 1 will become 0. And when it come out from the litter box, the value of litter box will become 1. So whenever the litter box value is equal to 0, means nobody can enter. The one cat is already there in litter box. When the value is equal to 1, means other process can enter into the critical section. Dijkstra's proposed a new and very significant technique for managing concurrent process by using the value of simple integer variable to synchronize the process of interacting processes. The integer variable is called semaphore. So it is basically a synchronizing tool and is accessed only through the two low standard atomic operation, wait and signal, defined by P and V. The classical definition of wait and signal are: wait means decrement the value of argument s as soon as it would be non-negative, and signal means increment the value of s as an individual operation. Semaphore property, it is simple, it can work with many processes, it can have many different critical sections with different semaphore. Each critical section has unique access semaphore. It can permit multiple processes into. Exam, it is going to ask what is two types of semaphore: binary and counting. So binary is having only two values, 0 and 1, and counting is having number of integer values. Sometimes if we use improperly, then it is blocked and it creates a deadlock. This is the disadvantage of. Now the next set of problem we will see in next lecture.